Hey, yo, what's up? It's Smooth.
Vaughn.
This is Riggs.
And Slick Money.
And you are now listening to the
Switch Style Podcast.
Welcome to the Switch Style Podcast. On episode 20, DJ Khaled scores a big debut, and we review Phonte and Eric Roberson's Tigallerro. But before we jump into anything, let's introduce the crew. Slick Money, what up?
What up, nephew? How you doing, bro?
Oh, glad to see you. I see we're on Facebook Live tonight.
Yeah, it's the first time we're doing it, so I mean, we need the exposure. I think people are really slipping on checking out the podcast, and I think I'm gonna give them a full effect on tonight how we do it. This will give you a good opportunity to get next to J Smooth, Riggs, and myself, and Vaughn is out tonight. But we wanted you to go live so you guys can see really what we do, okay? So hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, type something in. I'll be glad to answer it or pass it on to Jay.
Okay. And last but not least, Riggs, what up, man?
Ain't nothing, chilling. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to see you. I see you looking smooth. Got your glasses on. You and Slick. Y'all some bad boys.
No, I'm just hiding my heart. This is the window to the souls.
Okay, cool. Got you. And we can't forget about Vaughn. Vaughn's taking a break tonight. She's actually out hanging out with the family. So, we wish Vaughn well, and hopefully the family gets back to DC safely. So Vaughn will actually see you next week. But before we jump into anything, if you like what you hear, remember to follow us on SoundCloud.com/Switch Style Podcast. And you can also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and Twitter. Let's actually check out what's happening on the charts. On the Billboard 200, DJ Khaled earns his first #1 album with Major Key. According to Nielsen Music, Major Key earned 95,000 equivalent album units. 59,000 of those were actually traditional album sales. Major Key also gives DJ Khaled his 7th top 10 album on the chart. Also, congratulations to L.A. Reid and Epic Records. So L.A. Reid, that's my guy. If you hadn't read his book, please check it out. It's very insightful. He shares a lot of great information on, not only his story, but the artists that he's worked with as well. But for L.A. Reid and Epic Records, Major Key is their second #1 album this year, which followed Future's Evolve, which debuted at #1 back in February. So, you guys have any quick thoughts?
Oh man, yeah, I like the album. The album's dope, and he's got a lot of throwbacks. Like he's got a lot of tracks that are kind of old school New Yorkish, and he's got the old New York cats on there. He's got Nas, he's got Busta Rhymes, he's got Fat Joe. It's just a dope album.
So you heard it from Riggs, audience. Check out Major Key, which is available on Apple Music, but it'll actually be in stores this Friday, August 12th. And next, after 12 non-consecutive weeks atop the Billboard 200, Drake's Views actually falls to #2, and I know that's kind of disappointing for you, Slick.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed.
I mean, maybe he'll get back there, but he might have a hard time next week because they're actually expecting Suicide Squad, the new movie with Will Smith, Viola Davis, and Margot Robbie. They're actually expecting that to debut, the soundtrack to debut at #1 next week.
Okay. So, but no, I mean, Drake had a good run.
Yeah, he did.
He can't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I can't remember a rap artist who had a run like this in a long time. Hats off to him. Drake deserved to step down, let someone else take the torch for a while, because he did it for quite a while.
Yeah, he did.
I think since we've been on the air.
No, not quite.
Not quite? Okay.
Not quite. He's we've been talking about him since he's been on. Either he's had the #1 song or #1 album in the country since we've been on. So, congratulations to him.
And it's good he only slipped to #2.
Right. So
go from #1 and then
to 2. I'd rather be 2. Like if I can't be 1, I'd be 2.
I can dig it.
So 20 weeks we've been doing this 20 episode, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty long.
Yeah, that's very long.
Yeah.
So shout out Drake and congratulations. And last but not least, the album we reviewed last week. An audience, if you haven't heard last week's review of Fantasia's The Definition Of, please go to SoundCloud.com/Switch Style Podcast and check it out. But last but not least, Fantasia's The Definition Of debuted at #6, earning 32,000 units, and 29,000 of those were actually traditional album sales. So congratulations, Fantasia. And one last note on her. The Definition Of actually gives Fantasia her 4th top 10 album. So any quick thoughts on Fantasia?
I'm glad to see her in the top 10. Congratulations.
Yeah, numbers are everything, and hats off to her to have full control of her album and to debut in the top 10. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I agree with you, with both of you guys. She made the album that she wanted to make, and she earned a top 10 debut, which speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Hot 100, Sia and Sean Paul, they earned a third consecutive week atop the chart with Cheap Thrills. So if you haven't heard Cheap Thrills, please check it out. Slick and I and Autumn, we all went to check out a Braves game last week, and just come blaring out of the speakers was Cheap Thrills. And it's funny because when Slick heard it, he actually forgot who it was, and I told him he needed to listen to the Switch Style podcast. So congratulations to Sia. If you haven't heard it, it's a great song. One of my favorite songs this year actually. Any thoughts on Sia and Sean Paul?
I like the song. I really do. But the history behind the song, Jay, was that can you tell them the history about who she offered the song to?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, Sia is one of the better writers, to put it mildly. She's one of the better writers throughout not just pop music, but all of music. And Cheap Thrills was intended to be sung by Rihanna. She wrote the song for Rihanna, which would have been on Rihanna's latest album, Anti. And Rihanna actually turned the song down. And, Riggs predicted it earlier this year. He felt that Rihanna could have had another number one, and this should have been it. So that's the story behind Cheap Thrills. Rihanna should have been singing Cheap Thrills.
And she also sent the song to Katy Perry. Is that correct?
Katy Perry as well. And Katy Perry actually got upset. Katy Perry mentioned, "Hey girl, why didn't you send the song to me?" And Sia sent her back a quick email. If you checked your email, you would have saw that I sent it to you. So Sia actually sent the song to Katy Perry, Rihanna, and probably a few more people. So if you hadn't checked out Sia, please do. She's a really great artist, very talented writer.
Yes, and that song is in rotation. So, yeah, Cheap Thrills is a great song by Sia.
Go ahead.
I actually kind of like when that happens, and for certain people, I like that it happened to her, because sometimes if you have a song and you give it to somebody else, it just doesn't. Everybody puts their own thing on it. So
right.
I'm glad it ended up staying with her, because she definitely put her thing on it, and somebody else may not have necessarily had Sean Paul on it. So congratulations, Sia, and I'm glad that song stayed home.
Good for her. Yeah, it's more of an Allen type feel. It's a good song.
And congrats, Sia. But before we check out the new albums coming out this weekend, this Friday actually, if you like what you hear, remember to follow us on SoundCloud.com/SwitchStylePodcast. You can also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and Twitter. So, guys, let's actually find out what's coming out this Friday, August 12th. So, first, look out for a new album by hip-hop duo Ray Shrimmer. They'll actually be releasing their second album titled Shrim Life 2. So if you hadn't heard Ray Shrimmer, they were signed by super producer Mike Will, and Mike Will made it. So he's actually really out there now. But I don't know if you noticed, but their name is actually Eardrummers spelled backwards. So shout out to Ray Shrimmer.
Which is what their label?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So shout out to them, and also Ann Wilson, who is half of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame duo Heart. She'll be releasing her second covers album titled The Ann Wilson Thing #2, and Riggs can tell you a lot more about Ann Wilson than I can. You got anything for him, Riggs?
Oh boy, yeah, queen of rock and roll, heavy metal. Her voice is distinct, one of the most powerful and precise, beautiful voices in rock and roll. Everybody knows Barracuda.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it, you've seen it in a movie. Also in the 80s with the album Heart, Never and What About Love and all them joints. She's a bad girl. She's definitely got pipes. Yeah, I personally, you generally ask, we're looking forward to certain albums. I'm sure people that are really, really into her, we're looking forward to this, but age is kind of caught up with her.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's kind of something she's doing more for, for herself and just for the love of doing it. Because, I heard the album, sung live. And, it's all right.
Okay, well, everybody, don't forget to check out Ann Wilson. And last but not least, alternative R&B artist and Drake protege, Party Next Door. He'll actually be releasing his third album titled P3. I know that's Slick's boy. Some people might be looking forward to Party Next Door, Ray Shremmerd, or Ann Wilson, but you know, if it's something that you like, check out all three of them. Go support the artists, and you know, we tell you about the new releases for a reason, so you guys can go out and support. But we'll actually move on to our centerpiece for this episode, which is our album review of Phonte and Eric Roberson's Tigallerro. But before we do, if you like what you hear, again, remember to follow us on SoundCloud.com/SwitchStylePodcast. You can also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and Twitter. If you guys have kept up with us the entire 20 weeks that we've been doing this, we've done 4 album reviews so far, and this will be our 5th. And before each album review, we like to give you a quick bio on the artist, just to give you some background on them and let you know what they've done and where they could possibly go. So, Phonte Coleman and Eric Roberson first met in 2006 at a concert in New Jersey, where Phonte was performing with his group at the time, Little Brother. After the show, they went to Roberson's home to record Been in Love, which appeared on Eric Roberson's 2007 album titled Left. Been in Love actually became the first of their many collaborations. Phonte Coleman, he's 37 years old and from Greensboro, North Carolina. In the early 2000s, Phonte, he made his name as a member of hip-hop group Little Brother and alternative R&B group The Foreign Exchange. And so, audience, just stick with us. I know these might be some names that sound unfamiliar to you. And on Facebook Live, if you got any questions about who these artists are, I can give you more info. And throughout Phonte's career, he's been the focal point of 6 Little Brother albums, 5 Foreign Exchange albums, 1 solo albums, and now Tigallerro. So that's a lot of output for an artist. That's about 13 albums I just named. So Phonte, he's been around a long time. He's been doing it a long time, and you'll actually find out how good he is in a second. And next, Eric Roberson. He's age 39, and he's from Rahway, New Jersey. Around 1994, Eric Roberson began his career as a solo artist for Warner Brothers. In the early 2000s, Roberson became a fully independent artist, starting his Blue Arrow Soul label. Throughout his career, he's released a total of 7 solo albums and now Tigallerro. And in addition to his solo work, Roberson has also written for artists such as Musiq Soulchild, Dwele, Vivian Green, Charlie Wilson, Will Smith, and many others. Audience, just to give you an idea of how talented Eric Roberson is, one of his most notable songs is Emotional Roller Coaster by Vivian Green. And that was a big song back in 2003. So, ladies, I know you've heard Emotional Roller Coaster. That's a really huge song. And Eric Roberson, he's the guy that was responsible for it. So, guys, any quick thoughts on the bio before we move on?
Yeah, you said it all. He's very talented.
Yeah, he is. He's a talented guy. They both are. Riggs, I'll throw it to you first. What were your initial impressions of Tigallerro?
I'm very impressed. I wasn't expecting.
You said that you're not impressed?
I was very impressed.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Very impressed.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting as much consistent good music. I was expecting, maybe 3 really strong tracks and then some filler music and things that, you may like for a particular reason, but not just overwhelmingly good, which is not to say anything bad about them. Like, I had a low expectation for them, but just they, exceeded my expectation.
Well, I'll give you guys my initial impressions. And first off, this is hands down my favorite album of the year.
Wow.
Hands down. And we've reviewed Maxwell, Keith Sweat.
Look how Riggs are looking.
Beyonce's put out an album this year. Rihanna put out a great album. And not just within the R&B genre, but this is my favorite album of 2016. And I know we still have about 5 months left throughout the year, but this is by far my favorite album. And to set things up properly for you audience, Phonte and Eric Roberson, they're both independent artists. So just to set expectations, these aren't artists that are going to sell millions of albums. And in fact, neither one of them has ever had a platinum album. They've never sold 1 million records. And to bring even more perspective to it, they've never had a gold record. So, Slick, you got...
As talented as he is, you would have thought he have gone gold. But platinum, I'm not here to knock him because he's very talented.
Yeah,
he's one of the top neo singers probably of all times. He's one of the tops. So I'm not here to knock him, but I'm shocked that he has never gone gold.
Never.
And gold for Facebook listeners and Switch Style Pod listeners is to sell 500,000 albums or units or whatever the case may be. But 7 albums and never done that is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, I agree. So going into this album, I didn't expect them to sell a lot of albums anyway. And if you listen to the podcast, we mentioned last week that Tigallerro debuted at number 8 on the Billboard R&B albums chart. So, which leads me to believe that they probably sold maybe 4,000 to 5,000 copies in their first week, which isn't a lot, really.
Right.
And to give you guys even more, to further my point, these guys have never had, either one of them, they've never had a hit that charted on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. They've charted on the R&B songs chart, on the R&B hip hop Billboard albums chart, but never on the Hot 100. And to give you guys more background, the Hot 100, the Billboard's Hot 100, those are the 100 most popular songs in the U.S. So Eric Roberson, like I mentioned before, he's been around since 1994. And Phonte, he's been around since about 2001. And that's well over 20 years for one guy and 15 years for another guy. And these guys have never had an extremely huge hit. So, and again, I'm saying all this, I just want to set the expectation so you guys know who we're dealing with. So don't expect mega hits or these guys to sell a lot of albums, because that's not who they are. But with all that said, to get to the album, like I said, this is by far my favorite album of 2016. I say that because I feel that it's a very personal album for me. A lot of the things that they talk about on the album, me as a black man, I can relate to them. They deal with a lot of topics such as relationships. They deal with self-doubt and eventually overcoming those things. They deal with the one-night stands. They deal with finally having that love of your life and, never being able to find someone else like her. There's an assortment of songs. There's only 10 songs on the album. Go ahead, Slick.
I just want to ask you, that song that you just said, that titled the Jumping from Woman to Woman.
Uh-huh.
And they finally decided to find love. Can you tell me the name of that song?
Through the Night. They kind of...
Through the Night. That's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
No, a title.
Yeah, Through the Night. They kind of weave throughout that theme.
Okay.
Throughout the album, but in the end, Phonte, he has probably his best rap I've heard in a while on Through the Night.
LaWanna is asking you a question, Jay.
Yeah, what's up, LaWanna?
LaWanna is asking you, and this is the top album of 2016 that you're talking about?
Yes, LaWanna, this is my favorite album of 2016. I can't speak for Riggs. I can't speak for Slick. I can't speak for Lil Joe down the hallway or whoever. But this is my favorite album of 2016 by far, and it's not even close.
For me, it's definitely in top 5.
Yeah, and Riggs said it's in his top 5.
I go top 5, but my favorite is 2, which is Keith Sweat, Dress to Kill, and
Dress to Kill.
Not Dress to Kill. I'm sorry,
Dress to Impress.
Yeah.
Dress to Kill is a movie, but Dress to Impress is in my top 2 or 3, along with Chance the Rapper. Curlin Book will always be one of my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is good for him, and I hope he get the notoriety and the glamour and people talking about it to give him a chance, because I'm shocked that Jay brought up that he's never sold 500,000 copies. That's unheard of for a person who made 7 albums and write for other artists.
Well, not so much for a neo-soul artist. And, the fact that they have written for other artists, they're not broke and they got show money.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not.
Oh, yeah, we know he got some money, though.
Yeah,
you don't have to have a hit for him.
Yeah, no, well, I'm just saying, you don't have to have a hit to make some money.
Right.
You can make hits for other people
Mm-hmm.
and still do well, and plus getting all the writers' credit and producers' credit. So he's gonna sell some albums, but he ain't like Jay said. He might not reach the 500,000 or the million, but it's enough to keep his head above water, and he go back in the studio and do it again.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that he get that mega hit, like Roller Coaster was a big hit.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
So if he can get 2 or 3 more of those in his career, then he should do well.
Audience, I want to let you know that this album, for me, it's all about creative freedom. And if you listened last week to the Fantasia review, that was something that she struggled with, and that's something that these two artists, Phonte and Eric Roberson, they don't have to struggle with. They don't have the label beating down their door or telling them what they should sing or how they should sing it, what they should wear, or whatever the case may be, because they're independent. They're their own bosses. So whatever it is, in music aside, whatever it is that you're doing in life, always strive to be independent. Always strive to be your own boss. That way you always maintain control. So I don't want to sound like I'm preaching or anything.
No.
People need to hear it.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah. But Riggs, let me ask you this. In your opinion, just where do you think Phonte and Eric Roberson are in their career at this point?
Well, something like the last few artists that we did at, and the point of their career where like they've been doing it for a while. They're in a space where they know, or they're not expecting probably, to sell, like you said, so many records, but they're expecting to make good music. They're artists that do it for the love.
Yeah.
And it definitely comes through their music. So I think they're in good places creatively. Definitely, they're in good places in their career as to they're gonna get what they want.
Yep.
Out of what out of what the music that they're making. Yeah, I say that's where they are. They definitely both and collectively have, I guess, what you would say is a cult following. And I think after this album, that cult following is gonna spread out more.
It should, and I definitely hope so. And Slick, let me ask you this.
Yes.
In your mind, if you could take on Phonte and Eric Roberson's thought for a second, what do you think their goal was with this album? What could they possibly be trying to accomplish with this album?
I think you said it best, nephew, when you said that. I think most artists are trying to fight for control. To me, the labels and executives have been pimping the artists for so long. And matter of fact, Jake, if I'm not correct, does a song cost 8 cents or 9 cents an artist get?
Yeah, that's about what they get.
Okay, to put it in perspective, and I got my man here to correct me if I'm wrong, because Jay is very knowledgeable about music, but to be getting 9 cents per song every time your song is played on the radio or movies or whatever it's getting is not a lot of money. But I guess if it's played over 1 million times, it can be over a period of time. But I think Fantasia showed it off this last album that you want control, and for some reason, if you have control, you get to do it the way you want to do it. And that doesn't mean you're going to be successful, though. So just because you get control doesn't mean it's going to be a bang mega hit and then like that. But I think that more artists like Eric Roberson and Phonte are trying to get control, to let the label know, give me more creative rights so I get a chance to do the album the way I want to. But I don't know if that changed the finances or the money of the thing, or the label said, well, okay, you want control, then we just give you a certain amount of dollars to do this. Maybe Jake can speak on that. But I just think that every artist seemed to try to fight to get control of their particular style and what they're trying to come across on their album. And for Fantasia to fall in the top 10, that's pretty impressive.
Definitely.
And she had a variety of different songs and style on the album. So I guess that's what everybody's trying to do now, is going to take full control of their music. And I just wish they shouldn't be trying to fight for control of the music. I think they should be trying to fight for more money for their songs. That's just my take. I think so much having the control don't mean a lot, because the label is going to make money off you regardless. But if you can fight for more money, then that's fine. But if this was going to make them happy, is to have control, then hey, do what makes you happy. So at the end of the day, you can sleep at night. You can say, well, I did it the way I wanted to do it.
It's like I definitely agree with you. And the creative freedom, it shows in the album. It shows in the continuity of the album. It shows most importantly, it shows in the quality of the album. Like, audience, this is a quality album, and now we'll actually jump into some of our favorite songs. Briggs, what were your favorites?
Every song.
Every song. You hear him on every song.
The only song
did you hear that, LaWanna? He said every song was his favorite.
The only song that was not extremely impressive to me, but it was cool, was 345. There's nothing wrong with it. It was cool, but everything else I like, but I like them for different reasons. Some of them is the musicality, some of them is the writing, some other is just the whole vibe. But the whole album is dope.
Wow, and it's funny you said you didn't like 345. That was one of my favorite songs on the album. And audience, just to give you a...
Well, hold on, I ain't saying I like it.
Well, it just wasn't one of your favorites.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I like the whole album, but it was the least out of, you know what I'm saying?
I like 345 so much, and just to give you an idea of what it sounds like, 345, it's actually the way you see it on a digital clock. 3:45. And the song starts off like a ticking clock. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And the kick drum, the bass drum, it actually beats like a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's...
Wow.
And when the chorus comes in, I won't say it's an overly huge chorus, but it comes in with the keys and, the entire instrumentation that goes along with it. And to me, it's one of my favorite slow jams of 2016. I'm in love with the album. but Rick,
I really like Hold Tight.
Hold Tight, yeah, tell them about that one.
Oh man, Hold Tight. So if you're into the whole neo soul vibe, Hold Tight comes in and it sounds like it's gonna be a filler song, like a song that's cool, but yeah, whatever, But the tempo picks up a little bit, and he does like a trap flow on the song.
Yeah,
and you're just not expecting that, and it's just stupid.
It's crazy.
And it's stupid because it's also a play on just a man's life as well.
Right.
Because he's going with this flow. He's talking a certain kind of way. But at the end of the song is basically like, look, this is not what you should be doing. Go ahead, you find a guy. If you got a good woman, stick with her. Go home and go to bed, man. That's what he said at the end of the song.
Go to bed, Joe.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
Go to bed. Go to bed, Joe.
So it's real cool the way, the depth that they get into of relationships between man and woman and what happens and how each one feels throughout the whole album is classic. Because one thing that I tend to like about white artists more than I like about black artists.
Wow.
Is that they have a different depth. They don't talk about the same thing. I mean, a lot of times you'll have an album and it's all on either she's hot, I love her, I want to smash her, you know what I'm saying? You got a pretty face, you got a bad booty, or you broke my heart, you hurt me, you slept with the next dude, da 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 da. But they get more into the depth of relationships. So I mean, it's just a real good album.
Briggs, you said it perfectly. The depth of relationships. And when I said it earlier, this is, as a young black man, this is my favorite album. And that's one of the reasons why. And Riggs said it perfectly. Instead of just speaking about things on the surface level, they actually delve deep. They tell you why you shouldn't sleep with women on the first night.
Damn.
These are things that they talk about. They talk about why you shouldn't leave your wife and why you should go to bed, why you should go home and go to bed. And the line that Riggs mentioned, go to bed, Joe, if you have seen the Jacksons in American Dream, that's where Phonte got the line from. Yeah, Joe was ready to go outside and whoop somebody, and Catherine came outside. Go to bed, dude.
Who left the towels at the pool?
Right. Who left the towels at the pool, man? Shut up and go to bed.
These grown dudes making millions of dollars.
Exactly.
You just foolish out there.
Right.
Looking stupid. And it's telling you, don't be foolish out there. Don't look stupid.
Right.
Go to bed, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Don't be foolish. And they also let you know that when you find that special one, cherish her.
Wow.
Treat her like you did when you first started, and always continue to improve upon not just the relationship, but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Always manage to find a way to fall in love. I mean, it's a very deep album, not just musically, but lyrically as well. I mean, Slick, you got something?
Yeah, I'm just impressed of what you guys are saying, because Facebook actually are hearing us. So the women are really being moved by the depth and love and relationships. And we got numerous of people, Gigi, Nicole, and Debbie, and Luana. They're saying stuff like, man, that's worth going out buying when you talk about relationships. And you guys are hitting it home and, not sleeping with a woman on the first night. Now, I might disagree with that. Because what I'm saying is that I think that should work for young people. Older people should be more mature to handle one nights forever or whatever the case may be. But I just want to give you my quick review. You guys, it's really nothing I can say because y'all said it all. Top 5 album of the year, and it's August. So it's only 3 more months left. 4 months left for the year's out. But the producer, Riggs, said it all and summed it up. The depth of a relationship between a man and a woman. I think we need to hear more of that, and coming from these guys is really impressive. So, again, I'm really looking forward to diving more into the album, and I think the review tonight has been wonderful because, like I said, Facebook is telling us they really appreciate what y'all saying. So, the experts, I'm not an expert. They are the experts. I'm just a guy that's in the back seat. Get out and get the gas, carry the bags and stuff like that. I don't mind that.
Back seat in this car.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to say, man, the album was great. Appreciate it. And I think you made an excellent choice, like you always do, being the man that's driving the Mercedes. You always make a great choice, Jay Smooth. And ladies, fellas, go out and get this album. It's really, really nice. Jay said it's the best album he have heard in 2016. That's 8 months.
I got something for the ladies on Facebook.
Okay, hold. Riggs got something for y'all. I'm actually going to turn the camera to Riggs, and Riggs said he got to say something. So go on to Riggs now.
Okay, Grow This Love. That's what I'm going to affectionately call the Steve Harvey song on the album. That's the 90-Day Rule song on the album. It's a song that says, let's hold tight, let's grow this love. Let's not rush into things because you want to have a real relationship. That's what the ladies want. Well, most of the ladies. Some of them just want, to be casual, and that's cool. But grow this love. The bass line on it is stupid, and then the strings that come, it's got that whole feel and the vibe, the emotion. Grow this love. That's for the ladies on Facebook.
Okay, ladies. Now, have you heard that? You heard that, ladies from my man Riggs. He's telling you that this is a must-get album. So please go out and get Eric Roberson. And what's the title again, Jay?
Tigallerro.
That's a big word. See, I can't pronounce big words. I'm going to get a tongue twisted being from Memphis. So, ladies, you heard it from Riggs. It's a great album. A lot to do with love and relationships. And everybody wants to be in love. Matter of fact, Riggs, just because you said that, I am going to promote his album on my love and relationship page about all these key songs you're talking about. And Keith Sweat was the only one to ever make my page as far as reviewing an album. So Eric Roberson will be the next one to do it. And because if it's about love and relationship, gotta talk that, gotta push the album.
That's big.
Yeah. For me, ladies and fellas, this is an album that you can, when you're going out on date night or wherever you might be going with your lady, this is an album that you can put in the car and you both can enjoy it. I mean, they sing, they rap, and this is in my opinion, this is the perfect embodiment of what rap and R&B should be combined. If Drake could have made this album, this would have easily have been a 10 million seller.
Oh,
easily.
Wow.
And that's a big statement.
Yeah.
If Drake made this album, this would have easily have sold 10 million copies. Rick, you got something?
You the man with the facts. Why don't you explain how they got the name Tigallerro?
Tigallerro, it's a combination of Phonte and Eric Roberson's nicknames. Phonte, his nickname is Tigalo, and Eric Roberson is Ero, E-R-R-O. Those E-R, that's the first 2 letters of his first name, and R-O are the first 2 letters of his last name, which hence Ero. And Tigallerro, so that's how you get the name of the title.
Good job. Always got the facts.
Yeah, always
got the facts. Nephew.
And, I did want to let the audience know that these guys are talented. They're not just pulling anybody off the street, having somebody write the songs for them. These are real life experiences. And these guys actually co-wrote 8 out of the 10 songs on the album. And Phonte, he's listed as a writer on 9 out of 10 of the songs. while we're talking about the album credits, there's an amazing musician on the album by the name of Zoe. And if you listen to the show at all, Riggs has talked about him a couple weeks. So Riggs, I don't know if you
that
want
was
to tell
one of
him
my
more about it.
picks.
Yeah.
What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
He's a keyboardist, producer, pianist, and the way he puts the synth sounds and the strings throughout this album, those are the things that really tap on your emotion. But he does it bad. He's a bad dude.
Yeah, he is. He's amazing. And I don't even want to use this phrase, but this is truly for lack of a better phrase, this is a grown and sexy album.
Grown and sexy. I like that.
This album is for mature adults, and this album doesn't have mass appeal, and it's not designed for that. I mean, these are two males that are in their late 30s.
I'm not even going. You know what? It should have mass appeal. I think it does have mass appeal. I just think the masses don't know about it yet.
Exactly.
So, out here, Slick, you are doing so much for this album right now with this Facebook Live.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, you know what's funny that y'all said some keywords, mass appeal, but I think what people don't understand is that people are looking for club bangers. People are looking for that hype song. People are looking for, I want to get my groove on. Just like Keith Sweat album. To me, Keith Sweat album was that type of album to me. Mm-hmm. It might not have been that way for you and Jay or other people, but to me it was. But Jay, how many albums did Keith Sweat sell that first week?
It came out, it was 15. I should have wrote it down, but it was 14 or 15,000.
Okay. The great review that we gave Keith Sweat out, at least I know I did. Y'all did great too, but Keith Sweat only sold 15,000 albums the first week. That's painful to me. For that dude to have longevity, to make mega hits, and to only sell 15,000 albums the first week, that's really like a slap in the face to me. For him to have true fans, he have his own podcast show. Mm-hmm. He have a whole lot of stuff going for him. He's done so much for other artists, and you only sell 15,000 albums. So that goes to show you, Eric Roberson gonna have a great album, like y'all said, and he might only sell 15,000 the first week.
It's come out. The album has been out 2 weeks, and they've
2 weeks.
And they've sold. I can guarantee you, they've probably sold less than, half of what Keith Sweat sold.
Okay, so Jay just said it, that Eric Roberson now, as good as he is, the best album he's heard this year. 8 months have gone by. He's only sold 8,000 copies.
Well, it's only been out 2 weeks.
It's only been out 2 weeks, but still, that's a good album. I hope the numbers will get up. But I think if you don't have that mass appeal, that sex appeal, and a big main following, you will never reach the 500,000 album.
Yeah, a lot of it is promotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can take somebody like Ashanti. To me, Ashanti was kind of terrible, but she sold millions.
Right.
Because they just put it out there, promote right in front, promoting, and you pay for that. They probably spent.
And that's what I think about
$5 million or better in promotion.
Right, and that's why I think back to creative rights. I think the more creative rights you have, the less the label spends on you. I think that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong.
And remember, these are independent artists, so we can't expect them to sell. They don't have that big machine behind them, so we can't expect them to sell what a Beyonce or Taylor Swift or whoever might sell.
Yeah, the good thing is though that these independent artists, they'll generally tend to have more units on their albums than a traditional label artist, and which is what you were saying, like the 9 cents or whatever on each album that they get their units, so they'll get more of the units, and they usually have more or like all or part of their masters. Yeah,
and I can't say this with all certainty, but I bet they'll make more money off Tigallerro than Keith Sweat will.
Wow,
from his album,
and he probably right.
Well. Even though Keith Sweat.
Well, Keith was independent.
That's
Fantasia. That's a better example.
Right. Fantasia. Okay.
Fantasia. They'll make more money than Fantasia will, because Keith was independent as well.
Right.
But he's a money dude. So yeah.
But Fantasia have a bigger audience that's following them. Both of those. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because she have crossover appeal. I think the white audience will go out and buy Fantasia album as opposed to Eric Roberson and Keith Sweat.
But she had a lot of big names on that album, and I can guarantee you RCA spent a lot of money on that album. I'm willing to bet they spent a few million making that album. So we're actually running out of time, but did you guys have anything else on Tigallerro?
I'm just telling. I hope, like you said, Gigi just said, it's grown and sexy. Sound like the conversation is, and that's an album that you must go out and get. So I'm excited at the fact that it's grown and sexy, and I think people will really like that.
Yeah, your phone blowing up.
Yeah, they're blowing up because they want to know who you and Riggs are. They know who I am. They just don't know who you guys are.
Oh man!
So I think y'all are shedding down Facebook. I got so many people watching now. Comments. I mean, y'all are doing great. They said that you should go live every week.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Smooth, Jay Smooth going live every week. Next week you'll get it from 3 different angles, so everybody be doing it, and it should be live. But yeah, the phone is blowing up. People want to know who is Jay Smooth, Riggs, and nephew.
Wow.
Nephew is the other nephew from St. Louis.
And last but not least, we want to tell you guys, tell you what we're listening to right now. We want to help you guys build a playlist. So, Riggs, you got something that, if you want them to see something as well.
Oh man, yeah. I have a biopic. For me, when I was a kid, man, yeah, I loved it. It made me want to play the guitar. It just showed me something different in music, and it's called Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. Now, you might laugh like, oh, the Karate Kid, really? But the music actually, the movie actually has some critical acclaim. It's a movie about this young white dude trying to play the blues, and it's a dope flick.
Okay.
I even watched it last night because, sometimes you watch something as a child and you see it as a grown-up, you be like, what was I thinking? But I watched it last night and it's still dope. Check it out.
Was it based on a true story or was it?
It's kind of fiction. It's about, the blues dudes going down to the crossroads and selling their soul to the devil.
Okay.
To get, the ability to play like nobody before.
Sort of like the Robert Johnson story?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. Slick, did you have a track or song, artist, album that you want people to listen to?
Yes, I do want you to listen to the Eric Roberson project, which is the song is called Hold Tight, and 3:45. Is that PM or AM?
Oh, that's AM.
Is
that's AM.
Yeah.
So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, please go out and get Eric Roberson's new album. It's all about relationship and the depths of relationship between men and women. So I think riding around in that, my major song that I'm playing in the car, always like repeat 15 times straight, is that part by Schoolboy Q featuring Big Sean.
Oh, Kanye West.
Kanye West, I'm sorry. They guys all sound like Kanye West. They all the same. But that's my favorite song right now. That's what I'm riding to. Okay.
And last but not least, I have a throwback track, and it's actually from our featured artist this week, Eric Roberson and Phonte. This track actually appeared on Eric Roberson's Mr. Nice Guy album, which came out in 2011. It's called Picture Perfect, and I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard it before, but it's a really great track. So check out Picture Perfect by Eric Roberson and Phonte. Check out 3:45 by Tigallerro. Phonte and Eric Roberson again. And go watch Crossroads, starring Ralph Macchio.
Okay.
The guy from Karate Kid.
And I did have a song too. I couldn't think of what it was at first.
Okay.
There's a song by an English artist named Omar. It's called Ghana Emotion. So many people have the misconception that Africa, man, is not really such a beautiful place. And his description of the beaches of Ghana and what it is to be in Ghana, Africa, through the song Ghana Emotion, man, it's dope. It'll help broaden your mind and want to see the world as it really is.
Okay. Check out Omar, Ghana Emotion, the entire Tigallerro album, Picture Perfect by Phonte and Eric Roberson, and watch Crossroads, starring Ralph Macchio.
There it is.
The guy that was in Karate Kid.
Don't laugh.
Don't laugh? Okay.
Don't laugh.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax on, wax off. That's too funny.
But guys, that's actually a wrap on episode 20. So let's shout some people out before we go. Slick, you got any shout outs?
Yes, I'd like to shout out to all my friends and families on Facebook Live, man. We appreciate y'all supporting us tonight and coming in and watching the first episode we ever doing live. But we thank you, Lawana, Rashida, Anita, Gigi. God, so many people. I hope I don't forget anybody. My co-workers, Nick, Harris, HM3. Give a shout out to HM3. Steve, Hancock, all of them came in and watched in tonight. I just appreciate you guys. I love y'all for supporting us, man. And hopefully some major company might just see this and say there is a need for that. Because I don't think nobody give you the knowledge and information and facts like Jay does. And I'm so grateful that he came up with this concept because somebody's going to see it at some point. So, man, y'all been grown and sexy tonight. Appreciate y'all dropping that knowledge because knowledge is power, man. How can you go buy an album if you don't know nothing about it? Because ain't nobody going to pick up his album and just go listen to it. Somebody got to tell a friend to tell a friend. Mm-hmm. So, hey, we appreciate y'all, and I thank you so much, Facebook Live. We definitely going to see you guys next week. Thank you, Debbie, all the way in New York. I love you, all my folks across the country, Memphis 10, San Antonio, South Carolina, Charleston, all y'all. I love y'all. Back to you, Jay.
Shout out.
Where's Riggs or whoever will get a shout out?
I'll go. Shout out to everybody that's on Facebook Live listening. Slick just threw it in at the last minute, but we definitely appreciate you guys listening. There's so many names, and I can't even see them, but whoever you are and wherever you are, thank you for listening, and we sincerely appreciate it. Always remember to check us out on SoundCloud.com. You can check out all archive shows. And thank you for listening. Shout out to Cuz in the building. Remember if you need your car detailed,
keep it clean.
Keep it clean with the Best Choice Auto Shine.
CEO in the building.
Right. I would have him clean my car, but it's too old and too dirty. So.
But he's still a cleaner though.
Wait a minute.
It's still clean.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's no car too old or too dirty. Hey,
wow.
Keep it clean.
I won't even have him waste his time.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Shout out everybody again, but that's all I had for this week. Riggs, you got any shout outs?
My shout out to my Switch Style crew. Shout out to Vaughn who's not here.
Yeah, what's up, Vaughn?
We miss you, Vaughn. We'll see you.
Love you, Vaughn.
See you next week. Wish your family safe travels. Shout out to Uncle E, like all the time.
Uncle E.
What's up, Uncle E?
The one who put me up on music. Helped grow my love for music. Talk to him all the time about music. Man, Slick for this putting us on Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's Mr. Facebook.
For everybody on Facebook Live who's listening to us.
And Riggs, you got a lot of shout outs. I got to show y'all what they were saying. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew you was going to be a hit. LaWanna said Vic Rigg is a hit.
Yeah.
And that's coming from an expert as well.
Okay,
and we didn't even mention Stevie Wonder tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so she might be mad because we didn't say anything about Stevie.
Nah, let's leave him alone.
Love you, Stevie.
But shout out everybody. We appreciate you listening to the show, and we'll actually see you guys next week on episode 21. Wow, I can't believe I said that.
21, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Milestone.
Yeah, milestone.
The CEO got to take us out. We made a milestone 20. You got to get us some Chinese food.
Chinese food and Ritz crackers.
Ritz crackers.
All right. Well, guys, we'll see you next week on episode 21. Peace.
See you.